Horizon Gens from Lucy Reacts, and this is Optimizing the Snake Build by the channel TR2. The snake build is one of the hardest classes to succeed as. I never thought of that. I thought they would be more, I don't know, more successful, at least average successful, since they are really feared. But with TR2 guide, you can create a truly menacing character. Yeah. Snakes are weak. I never thought of that. I always thought that if it's not, really OP, it's at least mid-range. But I guess, yeah, they don't have legs or anything. Only humans fear them because they are really sneaky. In the wild, they probably are not as strong. I'm pretty sure there must be one or two species of snakes that are really OP. I don't know, like Cobra, Anaconda, who the hell knows. It's gonna be a fun video. I looked at quite a few TR2 videos already. If you haven't seen them, check out the cards. There's a playlist creator for it. TR2 reactions, something like that. I upload lots of videos in 24 hours, so you might have missed some of the videos because YouTube doesn't send notification after, I guess, 3 videos in 24 hours. So check out the playlist. Check out the playlist too, like Overly Sarcastic Production, CGP Grey, Internet Historian. And yeah, let's watch this one.
A lot of people have been asking me to do guides on specific builds, and I'm happy to oblige. Today, we'll talk about the most difficult of the reptile builds, the snake. Now, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm not sure why you'd ever want to try the snake build. Snakes are, in general, low tier, averaging in the D+ range. Not only that, but their gameplay is some of the most difficult content you'll ever experience. If you ask me, it's a little silly to use so many points to spec into the reptile faction and then opt to not have legs.
Okay, what just happened?
With that said, even though most snake builds are low tier...
What was that? What happened to that snake? Did the snake had Caesar or something? Damn.
Here, if you really know what you're doing, you can make one of the most formidable builds possible. Today, we'll go over the most viable options as well as common mistakes many snake players make. You have to be careful since there are a lot of enticing skills.
Look, snakes might be a low tier, but for humans they are one of the most OP thing there is, because of all the things humans fear, snakes are on top of that, isn't it? Because snakes are poisonous, they can kill humans, they are sneaky, and since they are so slim and rope-like, they could just sneak up onto you, you don't even realize it. So for humans, they are really high tier, in danger category, I guess.
Skills that can end up wasting a perfectly good build in the long run. Let's begin by discussing the main traits, strengths, and weaknesses of your snake build. As previously stated, the most defining trait is opting to not give your character legs. This has a few benefits. It opens up a lot of unique movement options, like slithering, sliding, sidewinding, and even gliding in some cases. Access to secret areas of the map normally blocked off by tight access points become available to snakes. This can net more exclusive access to...
Oh, thank you for that visual right there about the toilet. Yeah, that's really educational right there.
Food, shortcuts, and escape routes. In my opinion, this doesn't fully negate the negatives of having no legs, but credit where credit is due, it's not the worst trade.
Yeah.
But how can you maximize the evolution?
The thing I thought is going to be considered worst, he's saying it's good enough for the snake. So what else makes snake, really low tier? I thought not having legs or anything, that might have made them low tier. Apparently not.
Points you gain by dropping legs as a spec. Well, there are a lot of interesting options. Advanced tracking abilities, extremely potent venom, climbing, camouflage, the ability to traverse ocean, ability to scale walls, feign death, produce musk, the list goes on. But before you get too fascinated by the abilities of the snake class, be warned. There are only 3 competitively viable snake builds in the current meta. The rest, I'm sorry to say, are pretty unremarkable and no doubt low tier. Even the official game wiki refers to the typical most popular snake builds as a garbage group. So if you take anything away from this video, understand that vanilla snake builds are not worth your time. But I'm getting sidetracked. Let me get back to the 3 viable builds. I'll go through them one at a time from worst to best, as well as the special characteristics that make them so strong, and any shortcomings they may have. The first viable snake build is the Constrictor. This includes boas, pythons, and anacondas. It's the only snake build classified as a tank, with high HP and a thick, scaly hide. But more
worst to best, and anaconda is worst of those 3. So in top 3 snakes, anaconda's at 3rd. I thought they would be much higher since, There's a movie people made about anaconda, giant anacondas that supposedly frighten people. So anaconda must have stats. That must be OP. I don't know. Yeah. I guess they don't have venom, right? They kill their prey by crushing them.
More important than the snake's defense is its unparalleled grab game. A well-spec'd constrictor build can 0 to death any player they manage to grab.
Oh
If we
no.
compare the constrictor's grab to other high-level grabs, we can see that it sits among the best grabs in the game. Now, the constrictor build is not perfect by any means. It's not low tier, but I'd say it maxes out around the bottom of B tier for a few reasons. Constrictor snakes are huge, and this comes at a cost to speed. Because of that, they need the element of surprise to secure a grab. The problem with that is, again, they're huge, so it's not easy to hide. And secondly, constrictors are a tank build, but completely lack the ability to deal with groups of enemies. Sure, they're pretty overpowered in a one-on-one situation, but a fully executed grab combo takes a long time to perform, making it impossible to fight a group of hostiles, and will quickly be overwhelmed by a coordinated assault. Not much else to say about this build, so let's move.
Isn't that weird? Humans are the most powerful build in the world, obviously, the top tier. And yet, if you humans, even if there are 10 humans, if there's spots an anaconda, they will get the fuck out of there. While those monkeys basically trying to attack that. What does that say about us? I mean, humans are a weird build, isn't it?
Move on to number 2. The second most viable build is the Pit Viper. Unlike the Constrictor build, and also unlike most other garbage tier snakes, the Pit Viper class specs pretty deeply into the Venom tree.
Yeah.
But Tier Zoo, I hear you say. Didn't you rip on Poison Dart Frogs for doing that? No, unlike the Poison tree, the Venom tree is absolutely worth diving into. Poison is valuable for defense up to a certain point, but the thing to keep in mind is that you're always going to be at a negative if you actually have to use it.
Yeah.
Because for its effect to activate, you actually need to take a significant hit. Venom, on the other hand, is an offensive tool.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I remember that video. I mean, if the frog has to be attacked in order for that to work, I mean, that's just effed up. It's like, I'm really powerful, I have a special ability, but first you have to stab me. I mean, no. But Venom is just point out, Venom attack, like, direct offensive.
Which can allow its wielder to score kills much easier or defeat opponents that would otherwise be way out of their league. More powerful Venom effects only make you a more dangerous opponent, something to fear instead of something to avoid. Anyways, Vipers are generally defined as having spec'd into 2 main abilities. The first is their Venom. The Venom tree is pretty diverse with a lot of interesting effects, but the Pit Viper build chooses 2 of the most important effects available.
Wait a minute. So, he talked about the pythons, and he's talking about vipers here. What about rattlesnake? Aren't rattlesnake more dangerous? Because I hear people fear them, especially in US. And it's creepy as F because they are rattlesnake. They create this kind of rattling sound. I don't think we have that here. I've never encountered one. But yeah, rattlesnake, just hearing that is just, basically will just send chills down your spine, I guess, just hearing that. So aren't they OP too? Huh.
Hemorrhagic toxin and tracking compounds. The typical strategy of a Pit Viper player is to sit and wait for a target, which is aided by their high-level camouflage, and to score a single hit before retreating. Hemorrhagic toxin is not a fast-acting venom type, but has extremely high raw damage over time. With that in mind, the second effect of the Pit Viper venom comes into play.
Oh, that's just
the
sad.
tracking compounds, which create a trail to the downed player as they attempt to flee. This makes confirming kills easy to ensure that the Viper player never loses XP by getting its kill stolen.
So their venom has this tracking ability too that they can see. This is like that mod in Skyrim people usually take, even in Fallout, where whoever you kill just gets highlighted on the ground. This is awesome.
Makes leveling up easy and makes for relatively easy and rewarding gameplay. But if tracking wasn't enough, Pit Vipers also have a very special unique ability, Heat Vision. This ability completely negates the stealth bonus of darkness and camouflage, and makes it so targets just about never sneak past the player. The negatives are few, one being very low base HP and defense.
They're literally like, Predator from the movie Predator. They have this infrared vision. They can sting anything and they leave the trace. So even if it runs away in the distance, it can see that that's the thing that I just stuck. And just yeah, that's awesome.
Defense. Intimidation and stealth are really the only things preventing you from getting killed. So if a player with high resolve detects you, there's not much that can save you. Remember, this class has slow-acting venom, so it won't be able to kill something before it has the chance to kill you, or at least do some serious damage. All in all though...
Oh god, this is so good. I mean, that's something that anybody who plays, lots of RPG games, different type of, would know that. I mean, Assassin's Creed Origins, even Odyssey has this issue, where whenever you're choosing some kind of weapon with special effects like, poison or something, you don't choose poison much. Not just Assassin's Creed, lots of game that has, active, poisoning type of effect. You don't choose that most of the time, even though it would be OP, because it's going to take time. When you hit somebody and the poison effect starts, it's going to take time and slowly their HP goes down. But that person can now attack you. So anytime I choose something, special abilities, poison is not the one I choose. Freezing, or even fire, sure. Anything that is more like critical type of thing, critical hit damage, something like that. Poison is one of the lowest thing that I choose in the game. And this is literally that. This is literally for the snake. Like, yeah, snake can hit somebody, it's really poisonous, but it's going to take time. And now the opponent can kill the snake. Damn, he's talking about the real world as game, and I'm literally comparing that to a game. This is so awesome.
Oh, great build. Unique, fun, and powerful. I'd place them at the bottom of A tier. And finally, the best, most well-optimized snake build, the Cobra.
Cobra!
Cobras are pretty similar to the Viper build, but a bit more well-rounded. While Vipers are more effective at stealth and critical strikes, Cobras are just...
Pet Viper. Okay, Cobra has less power. What? So Pit Viper has the strongest venom apparently, because power is higher. Look at that. Intelligence same. Cobra has higher defense, way higher. Mobility is the same. Everything else, HP is the same, huh?
Just an all-around more powerful class, excelling at both offense and defense, with a few unique abilities of their own. They are larger and therefore less stealthy, but bulkier and more heavily armored. And they also spec into the Venom tree in a different way that I believe is more well optimized for versatility. The venom of a Cobra is different than that of a Viper, in that while a Viper bite causes hemorrhaging, Cobras carry a potent neurotoxin.
Paralysis.
Neurotoxins are much faster acting than hemorrhagic toxins because they quickly induce paralysis, which results in suffocation instead of waiting for the victim to die from internal bleeding.
Paralysis, damn. So Cobras are really effective because now paralysis is just, I'm pretty sure it makes no difference, kind of instant. So the problem the Viper would have, like, slowly poisoning, they don't have to worry about here, because once Cobra stuck something, eventually it will paralyze and, drop down or something. And then Cobra can basically take it out. That mentality alone makes Cobra really, intimidating. That feature alone.
This is important because it means a Cobra bite is much more effective as a defensive weapon as well as an offensive one. Cobra players rarely need to actually bite in self-defense anyway though, since they possess one of the most effective Intimidate moves in all of Outside. A combo of flaring their cape and hissing, enough to drop almost any aggressor's resolve to 0. However, if this fails...
A lion comes near a Cobra, and Cobra is, stands tall, flares out like that and hisses, and the lion pauses and like, nah, maybe next time, and just walks away.
A few advanced Cobra players have unlocked an extremely rare method of self-defense, a tactic which allows the player to deal damage while not putting themselves at risk, a ranged attack. The ability to deal damage and status effects over a distance is extremely powerful, and has only been unlocked a few times in the entire player base. The Cobra's ranged attack inflicts permanent blindness if it connects, rendering its target effectively helpless and doomed. The combo of versatile venom...
Look at that, I gave an example of lion, and then I thought like, maybe that's exaggeration, maybe lions would not be scared, and there is an actual clip of lion running away, look at that.
Excellent defensive options and daunting intimidation effects puts the Cobra class in high A tier. So in summary, the 3 best snake classes are Constrictor, Pit Viper, and Cobra. each with unique traits that allow them to surpass the normal limits of what snake builds can do. Thank you for watching, and if you've got a build, playstyle, biome, or any other aspect of the meta that you'd like me to analyze, leave it in the comments.
Yeah, what happened there? His voice go down. Damn, so obviously this is not a surprising. Cobra is, well known for being so powerful. But I thought anacondas would be there since they're big and they can crush things. But yeah, having, paralysis venom, that's just OP, isn't it? So yeah, it makes sense. Alright people, that was snake tier list, optimizing the snake build. If you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the reaction, there's a link in the description. Check out the cast world playlist, check out the end cards, and I'll see you next time.